move stuff out of an apartment that somebody's being kicked out of because they couldn't pay their rent during this time period, I wouldn't do it. I'd have to talk to my boss and refuse the job because, number one, it's not my shit. Two, I don't know the story. Every story has to be individualized. And that's not something I'm willing to compromise. I'm not willing to bend on that. If I know somebody's being kicked out of their place because of what's happening lately, like they lost their job, and I'm being tasked out to trash everything that's in their apartment or in their home, I'm just going to have to refuse to work that day or call out sick or something and let somebody else do it, because I don't think that I would morally be able to justify my own actions. Even though it's saying it's just my job, it's all I'm doing is my job. Well, my job is taking property. That would be taking property away from another human being, which is unlawful. Nowadays, landlords, I guess, which is standard, that if you are removed from the property, that they have the right to keep your stuff and sell it off, which is bullshit. That's your stuff. You paid for it. You worked hard to keep everything that you have. And because you fall on a little bit of hard luck, you're telling me that the landlord has the right to basically rob you. Not just to rob you of your things, but to rob you of your humanity. Because if you really think about it, our stuff becomes us. Like a dresser. A dresser you could have from 2 generations. A bedroom set. Older clothes that are memories. Graduation caps. Gowns. Suits that you got married in. Wedding dresses that you got married in. Imagine all that being packed up and stuffed into a warehouse, or worse yet, auctioned off. All because you fell in some hard times. All because a bunch of people lied to us about what's really going on. A scumbag landlord wrote some shit into a fine print, or got you when you're desperate, and this is what happens. There are good cops out there. I haven't met any, but I'm pretty sure there has to be. And I applaud you for being good cops, for doing the right thing, for being the decent person. I know that blue protects blue. Everybody knows that. One cop will always look out for another cop. Well, some of you should take a trip to Eternal Affairs. From what I understand, that's not even a regular occurrence. If I understand, it's not a regular occurrence. So, anyway, I'm pulling back up into the shop, and that's all I got for now. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend. Welcome back to the One Stone Dude podcast. This is your host, Ryan Castle, and I am with my barbette, because barbers are supposed to have, they get to know your most intimate secrets and details of shit, and me and this young lady talk a bit about things when we do talk, and I refuse to ever let anybody else touch my hair ever again, because it would never be as good as the haircuts that I get from this lady. And so I wanted to ask her some questions, since it's usually the other way around. When you have clientele as a barber or hairstylist or whatever you may be, you usually do the talking to get them into the conversation and hopefully up a tip. Mm-hmm. So it's my turn this time. Oh, I know. She's laughing at me. I was in tip positions. I know. You got to schmooze people as often as possible.
Hey.
Anyways, so all right. Are you a Trump supporter or not?
fuck Trump.
Okay. Wow. I've never had somebody give me such a quick answer. That was awesome.
I mean,
I'm so not a Trump supporter, but I end up having a lot of guests that are. Like, I didn't realize how many friends that I had that I have difference of opinions with politically. So I want to say that if there was 10, 7 out of those 10, actually 8 out of those 10 would be a Trump supporter, and me and one other person would not be. So that's how many friends I have that actually support Trump and those who don't. So it's good to know every time I hear somebody new that I talk to that is not a Trump supporter. And
when I'm cutting their hair and they're a Trump supporter, I just, in my head, I'm like, fuck Trump, fuck.
I do feel bad for the guy now. He's going to have to put up with all this shit. And get a lot of the blame, thrown his way, of course. That's what happens when you're president. When shit goes down, people are going to be the first one you're going to be the first one they point to. But what are your theories on the origins of COVID-19?
You know what? It's funny that you asked me that question, because here's the thing is that, like, I figured that they were going to come up with some way to fix the population problem. I mean, everywhere you move to, we have, like, a high rate of, like, population, people moving in. Housing prices go up. And then the other thing is that, as you were saying or talking about Trump earlier, we're getting ready to come up on the election here, and my theory is that they always have something that comes up, whether it be war, whatever it is, to try to get these stupid asses sometimes to get voted in. I mean, he's a really smart businessman, sort of. I mean, if you really know his history, he's not that smart.
No, I think everything he's ever done has failed.
Yeah.
Even Trump University.
Bankruptcy so often. Come on.
Right.
Something going to be positive?
Right.
I just feel like people. This situation's horrible. And then the video that I just saw about what is going on. So you're just basically saying in that video that we just got to take baby Tylenol Bear or something to kind of make sure that we get rid of it. I mean, I've heard stories about you can take, ibuprofen, or you shouldn't take ibuprofen. But, I mean, like, coagulation of the blood and all that stuff, I was like, well, okay.
It said in the video that I sent people on Facebook that it coagulates your blood pretty much. Yeah. And, so aspirin or Tylenol being a what do you call it, a blood thinner, and some antibiotics, and bam, you're cured. I couldn't believe when I saw that number, 14,000 people sent home in one day. How about that?
Well, the other day at my job, we had one of the people that worked there that tested positive. Like, the day that person felt sick, we sent them home. They went and got the test. 24 hours later, everybody was getting their test. We got our business shut down. And so we can't go back for a minute, but vacation, I guess.
Right.
Again.
How long's a minute, you figure?
I mean, for her specifically, she won't be able to come back to work for at least 14 days.
Right. Now, are they going to have you guys work from home?
So as stylists, I mean, we can't really be cutting hair at home.
Right.
But, I mean, I got tested. I was one of the people that got tested the next day, and I got my results back already, so I'm ready to go back to work now, which is why you're here. Hey.
Right on. Jeez. This, do you think people scare easily?
Hell yeah. When people are afraid, a lot of the times we react out of fear. I mean, we got a lot of people that are, like, let's say you're in a situation, you automatically think, oh, this is what I would do if I was in that situation. But once you're in it, you're in panic mode. So all the thoughts that you had and how you would react and everything, not the same.
Right.
Definitely not the same. Because I thought I would be calm, but the minute that I heard that, she was positive, I was like, oh, hell. I have a pre-existing condition, so I got to be careful. And I was around her quite a bit. So I expected that I was going to get it. But then somebody else from our job was like, we wear all of our PPE and we're super careful. We're all constantly sanitizing our equipment, constantly sanitizing and washing our hands. I mean, we're doing all the proper measures, but that whole social distancing thing, honestly, I don't think she was really practicing it. And I think that's why she ended up with it.
Huh. I got sent home. I got a little sick the other day at work. Something I ate that I figured, and they made me take a couple of days off, and I used PTO, which is cool.
Yeah, but what do you do when you're out of it?
Right.
I mean, I'm in the negative of like 43 PTO hours right now because we were closed for 6 weeks.
Wow.
And we were open for 3 weeks, and it was chaos. And now we're closed again, and we don't know when we're going to open up. I mean, they're saying we can go back to work Tuesday, but she can't come back to work for 14 days.
Well, I got a nice little scare because the following day, my throat started to swell up.
Oh, snap.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Well, did you watch that video?
Did you
go get some bear?
Dude, check it out.
Did you go get some Tylenol?
No, dude, you know what I did? I stopped smoking weed for fucking 4 hours.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Dude, my throat was just swollen up because I was just coughing and gagging because of this new weed that I have. I'm not used to it. It's pretty fucking strong. And I was using distillate with it, which is like concentrated THC. So every hit I was taking, I was coughing and gagging and having like these little fucking mini seizures where I'd cough so hard. Check this out. I don't know if Rob witnessed it or not last time we smoked together, but I cough so hard sometimes that I'll like almost lose consciousness. If I'm wearing flip-flops, I kick them off.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's funny as fuck, dude. That's the reaction I'm looking for.
Fuck this.
Kevin's seen it, dude. It was fucked up. It was a fucked up thing that happened to me.
Oh, wow.
But it's happened a couple different times. Always when I'm smoking concentrates, though. Always when I'm smoking concentrates. So with the throat being swollen up, all I really had to do was I downed a bunch of cold water, ate a bunch of ice, and the swelling in my throat went down, and I was fine. My stomach wasn't nauseous like it was from the day before. And but I tell you, I got a fucking scare. I'm like, oh my God, I'm throwing up. Is my nose running? No. Do I have a fever? No. And then wait a second. Then that happens, and it's like, oh my God, my throat's all swollen up. Is my heart going to start to fucking slow down? What the fuck is going on? It was a pain in the ass. It was fucking scary.
This is a pop-up from Rob Denard. By the way, prostitutes, if you're listening, yes, ice will cool down your throat. That way you can have your little Kim moment 24/7.
Hey.
That was our guest speaker, Rob the Nod.
I'm going to get my hair cut too.
So he's on that. So throughout the day, I've given my thoughts from 2 a.m. all the way up until it is now 11:22 a.m. I've not gone back to sleep. The sativa definitely energized me. I'm pretty good and stoned right now while I'm getting my hair cut, so it's pretty fucking awesome experience right there. Weed just makes everything better, though.
Right?
That's what I'm just saying. She doesn't even smoke weed, but she loves the smell of it. Little does she know she's getting a little bit of a contact high. She just doesn't understand what's going on.
Man, what you don't know.
That's better than a woman saying, I like the smell of fish.
That's true.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, man. Anyway, I want to give a quick shout out to the listeners I have in Ireland. Email me, please, because I want to know who you are. I couldn't believe I had fans in Ireland that are listening to the show. So feel free to email me at autobot0311 at protonmail.com. It's AUTOBOT, Autobot0311 at protonmail.com. I'd like to hear from you and maybe answer some questions on one of the shows. Other than that, I have nothing else that I want to really talk about. What about yourself?
well, before we started to get on the podcast, we were talking about Valentine's.
Right.
Back to
Yes,
that
please.
conversation.
Let's talk about Valentine's Day and your general belief in it.
Danger, danger.
I think Valentine's is full of shit.
All right. Tell us why.
Was this morning.
Listen, so when they do Valentine's, I mean, and I just kind of threw that earlier. So I think the reason that we have Valentine's, when we have Valentine's,